Hi, Joe Henshaw here again with another update. We're walking Constitution here, and this issue includes one that a lot of you are going to recognize immediately. The case of Melissa Lucio, a mom in Texas that has a lot of kids. I've read as many as 14, and yet she's facing uh, execution this week for murdering one of her very young children, and all the evidence points in the opposite direction. And all they had basically for evidence was they beat a confession out of her that she did it. And that's not how the system works, and it's not how it's supposed to work. And if she's innocent of this, they should at very at least commute the death sentence and probably release her altogether. I'm not that familiar with the case just yet, but I've seen this happen so many times. This is all these bastard dumbasses want to do when they get into court is convict you, and they don't care how they do it. That's not the system we ordained and established 230 years ago. It's not even close to it. And indeed, one of my many jury instructions, that you'll receive when you get my material, send me an email, youwinnincourt@gmail.com. One of the few not from the 9-0 parts, aka the US Supreme Court, dead bang quote. It's unfortunate that a murderer should go unwhipped of justice, but more unfortunate that a court without jurisdiction should exercise it. U.S. v. Tully, 140 Federal Reporter 899, page 905, paragraph 3, Judge. That's how it should be. And yet the damn prosecutors and black robe bastards get away with murder because they think they have at least qualified, if not absolute judicial immunity, courtesy of some BS decisions by the U.S. Supreme Court that come into play here. I'll think of the case names momentarily. There's a couple of big ones, but it's not true because they're not in the right jurisdiction, and we can prove it. And if we can prove that they're not acting in any official capacity, they're personally liable for all acts and omissions in the trial court. Compare this to, for example, Article 6, Section 13 of the California Constitution, allegedly currently in effect, that basically orders all appellate judges to find any errors and omissions in the trial court to be harmless errors. That has to go. The State Bar Association has to go. All these backroad bastards, aka unregistered foreign agents of the City of London, it needs to stop. And note that these are the only people that the de facto system thinks are qualified to hold any office in at least the quote unquote judicial department of government. Compare the definition of citizen in Bouvier's Law Dictionary, 1859. Consider the congressionally approved definitions of words and phrases of the Constitution. Citizen, one who has the right to vote for representatives and all other public offices, and who can hold the gift, who can hold a position of any. Let me start over again. A citizen, a person who can vote for all representatives in government and hold any position in government at the gift of the people. In a more extended sense, it means free white male 21-year-olds born in the United States. That's the definition, and the definition of United States citizen has nothing to do with federal law. It never has. It's based on citizenship emanating from your state constitution. So it's state citizens that make up the sovereignty, not this BS 14th Amendment crap they have now. And by the way, the secret intent of that amendment was to create corporate citizenship. So you walk into one of their courts, they immediately assume that you're incompetent as all hell Columbia, and they confuse you with Chase Bank or IBM as a corporate entity. Think about that. Now we're no better than the agents of our agents in the state capitals, and yet we own the whole thing. We created it, we own it, we tell them what to do, not the other way around. That's what it is we have to get back. That's what's going to help Melissa Lucio, to get out from under. And I'm reasonably sure that they're at least going to commute the death sentence, and they should release her just like they should have done in Oklahoma with that man that they did take the death penalty away, but he's still on death row, and he almost certainly didn't do it either. And that's because they deceived the juries. And in the Texas case, almost certainly withheld exculpatory evidence. And some of the jurors are saying that now that were on that trial, if they had known this, they wouldn't have voted the way they did. And that's reversible error, even in their corrupt courts. And it's for that reason that I'm sure this death sentence is going to go away, and that they probably should release Melissa Lucio and let it go at that. Not to mention paying her a hell of a lot of money for all these years she's been in jail. And it gets worse than that for them too, because if they acted without jurisdiction, not only are they personally liable, the Supreme Court has said what they did in this case and a lot of other ones are acts of treason to the Constitution. To learn more about that, send me an email, youwinincourt@gmail.com. I'll get right back to you with what I do. You're absolutely going to love it. It's across the board, not limited to quote unquote criminal cases, especially now when everything you walk into there is a quasi-criminal setting. And those of you that have done that, you know damn well the minute you walk in there, what do they think? That you're incompetent, you're an idiot. And yet here we are, the ones that created the Constitution and all government. The obvious question comes up: if we're so incompetent in their courts, how could we have had the competence, to form the Constitution for the United States, create all government, to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity? Which way is it? More to the point, if we're incompetent in their courts, how is it that we somehow magically seem to regain competence every 2 or 4 years on election day? Which way is it? And they're going to love that, since we can prove that there's no electorate at no elections. What that means, the 4 magic words: no consent of the governed anywhere in sight here. And in theory, if it worked as it should be working, if we get Melissa Lucio out of jail, we ought to clear out the entire facility. Right or wrong, or good or bad, the whole system has been so corrupt for so long that nobody that's in jail should be in there. And there's no question about that. To learn more, send me an email, youwinincourt@gmail.com. I'll get information on what I do, how I do it. You're going to love it, and you can learn to, go in there and stand up for your own as an example to your family, in order to secure rights secured to you, your children, and your posterity. It doesn't get any better than that. That said, remember to subscribe, like the videos, tell your friends, get the word out. As soon as we cut out the divide and conquer BS they've been doing for way too long and get on the same page, same issues, same court, same status, we get these bastards off our backs. Thank you.